Join me today on GHC Coffee Break with Julie Smith from Cycle Therapy. Get your coffee, we'll be right back.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside of the classroom,
where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits to a bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the university system of Georgia.
My college offers courses that fit my schedule.
It's where excellence begins.
we are.
We are.
We are.
We are GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Welcome to GHC Coffee Break. Hope you've had a chance to get your coffee. Joining me today is Julie Smith from Cycle Therapy here in Rome. Julie, thank you for joining me today. I've been real excited because I bought a bike from you a month or two.
I would say
month
a
and
month.
half.
Yes.
We looked for a while, and I kept coming in, and you'd let me try out something. And I said, well, I'm not sure if I want that. And then I tried another one, and okay, I like this part of this bike, but I like this.
Right.
And that's what was so amazing to me, is that you really worked to help me find the bike that fit me. And that's one of the things. Bike month is in May. I know we're actually going to be airing, I believe, in June, but May was such a busy month. I wanted to get this one in, so
Yes.
I really appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you, Susan, for having me. Yeah, April and May were really busy. April, at the end of April, we had our the 26th year of Up the Creek Without a Pedal, which is a big bike ride that Coosa Valley Cycling Association
Ooh,
started.
that sounds fun.
Used to leave from the mall, then it got bigger and it left from our Murchie High School, and then 2 years ago it left. Now it leaves from the town green in downtown Rome, so people can come and experience downtown Rome. And so there's various ride options that we had. So this year we had over 530 riders come to Rome and Floyd County and ride the trails, ride 30, 50, 70, or 100 miles.
Whoa.
Yes, so that,
Yeah,
and
30
then
maybe.
I know 30, and then actually, so there are also two options of 104 and 109 miles. So we had great success with that. So most people come in from out of town to do that. We do have some local residents that do that as well. So that's a great way to get to boost the tourism numbers, for people to see how beautiful Rome and Floyd County is. And a lot of the comments that I heard about that ride were, it's the best smelling ride.
Okay.
Yes. We also stopped at LCCL Farms, the strawberry farm on Old Dalton Road, and people enjoyed 4-ounce cups of strawberry ice cream, and people say, I will come back to that ride for this. And people from Atlanta and metro places could not believe how pretty it is up here. And that's what I want to show to people. This is beautiful bike riding country. You know, it's just a great, great event. So that was the 26th year.
26 years I've been doing
Yes, yes. I haven't. This was my first year in charge
okay.
of it. So it's TREAD, my trail advocacy group, has kind of taken the helm from Coosa Valley Cycling Association for that ride. So yes, so we had that. And then, as you mentioned, May was National Bicycle Month. We had Ride Your Bike to Work Day, which is always a big deal. At the bike shop, typically we'll have people come and get coffee and muffins and then ride to work. So we just wanted to showcase that you really can use bikes as a transportation option.
Oh, if I lived in Rome and worked in the city, I would so much enjoy doing that. I live in Bremen, so I drive 38 miles one way. I don't think I could make that on my bike right now. I'm working up.
You could. Yes, that would take a little bit.
I think it's called Dug Down Mountain would be, going down would be okay. Going up, I just don't know if I'd ever
have the gears, yes, for that.
My bike has seven gears.
Yes.
And I told you, I was funny, I was like, well, I think I can handle 3. And you said, well, most of them, 7's probably your best bet.
Right, aren't you happy with 7 now?
I've only went to 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
But I'm still learning again.
Yes.
They say once you ride a bike, you never forget. And I guess your muscle memory does come back, but I hadn't ridden a bike probably in 20 years. So.
Well, and it takes a while for you to kind of be at one with your bike, I think.
It's a comfort level.
It is, and you sort of have to let your inhibitions go and feel good about it and know that you can step off and you can shift, and there's a lot of sensory things going on when you're on a bike.
And I tell you, getting back to kind of looking at the bikes specifically, the fit, and how do you know what kind of bike's right for you?
Well, and the first question that we always ask people, so when you came in or when other people came in and they say, I want a bike, and we also like to educate people because a lot of people will come in and say, I want a bike and I want to ride on the roads. But after talking to them, that's not at all what they want. It's kind of that old real estate adage, buyers are liars. So you sort of don't know what you want at first. And so the first question we always ask is, where would you ride? And then by that, answering that question, you can narrow it down and funnel it down. So, in your case, you ride on the trail. So you said I would ride on the Greenbelt in Carrollton and the Heritage Trails here and probably in my neighborhood. So that tells me pavement is what you want. So then you start thinking about tire options. This bike that we have here is called a hybrid. And so we probably sell 80% of these bikes. And it's called a hybrid because the tire is thin like a road bike tire. But it also has a little bit of tread on it. This one isn't a great example because there are some bikes that have more of a treaded tire like yours.
I remember. Yeah, okay.
So it's going to offer stability on pavement, and also even on pavement in the trails, that you might hit some gravel, some pine straw.
Oh, I went off the concrete the other day and scared to. I didn't fall, but it scared me.
Right. So it's things like that you want to think about. Where you ride, that makes the difference on what kind of bike you get. If somebody came in and said, I want to ride mountain bike trails, then you naturally need a mountain bike. If somebody said, I want to ride on the road and more of a competitive, ride with the group rides and do those distances like I talked about in Up the Creek, then you need a true road bike. But hybrids probably fit the bill for 80% of our customers. Okay. And a hybrid meaning you can go off-road a little bit, you can do some gravel trails, but it's also going to be efficient on the road as well.
Okay, because I took I actually took my husband's up to the lake, and it's around the lake, it's more of a gravelly dirt, but and I did not like it at all. It didn't feel stable. The brakes, it was like I felt like I was sliding.
Right.
I rode it once and said it goes back on the car, and I'm not doing that.
Right.
And I think his is a lot like mine as far as the tire setup.
His is probably more of a cruiser style too.
Yes.
So that makes a big difference.
All right. So let's educate, like you said, because to me, when I do the show, I like to educate.
Yes.
I like to highlight people in our community and their business as well. But looking at the bike, a cruiser, you mentioned that. What is a cruiser?
A cruiser is really, think of a beach, what you would ride on the beach, or maybe what people would ride in the 50s with the sort of wrapped handlebars. Maybe no gears, a single speed, or maybe 3 gears, like you mentioned.
Okay.
Kind of a sloping top tube, a larger seat, and large tires. And so those are really great for flat beach riding, for people who want to get out on a flat paved trail, get a little bit of exercise, but you're not going to go up hills, because if you go up hills, you really do need some gears, because you're not able to change gears. You're not able to get into a lower gear. So that makes a big difference. So we have cruisers. Like I said, we have a lot of hybrids, and hybrids, when you get into hybrids, you get into different categories. So this is a true hybrid, or also Scott, who makes this bike, might also call it a flat bar road bike. So with these tires, you also could ride this on the road and be fairly efficient.
Okay.
You're not going to be in a tucked in position. You're going to be a little more up, and so that makes a little bit of a difference. But then also in hybrid, you get into kind of a comfort hybrid, which is probably a little bit what your bike is. Some of the comfort hybrids have some shocks on the seat post.
Yes.
So you're going to get a little bit of cushion and absorption that way. Some of them have front shocks on the front fork. Yours does not.
Yeah, they don't.
So you're going to have a little bounce there, and some don't. And a lot of times on the comfort hybrid, you're going to sit in a straighter position.
Yeah, see, and that was number one because of my back. I was like, that was one of the things I called it. I guess I can say this on TV. I wanted a big butt seat.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I wanted, the saddle seat, and I wanted to be more upright.
Right.
Because even looking at that to me is I can see my back. I wouldn't last very long.
Well, and also I don't think a lot of times people don't feel as in control.
I didn't think about that.
When you're leaning over a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we also have the true, what we call the drop bar road bike, which people equate that to what you might see on TV for the Tour de France.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to mention Lance Armstrong, but he's fallen from glory. But those kind of cyclists that you see maybe on the weekends, that you would see in Up the Creek, that ride the real thin road tires,
Yes.
the really light bikes. Some of them are aluminum, some of them are carbon fiber, super light and very efficient, have lots of gear ratios so they can just go fast. And then you have mountain bikes, a big chunky tire, front shocks, maybe even a full suspension mountain bike, which also means you have a shock on the frame as well. So, people who want to go out to Barrie and ride the trails, Jackson Hill and ride the trails. So you have your true mountain bike.
Okay.
And mountain bikes are okay you can also use your mountain bike to ride on the paved trails, to ride on the roads, but you're going to get a lot of drag with that big chunky tire. It's not going to be as efficient.
Okay. See, this is very educational to me because I'm thinking, well, like I said, when I bought mine, I was more on the idea of the paved roads. I haven't really thought at this point of something that was like the Silver Comet Trail.
Yes, absolutely.
Those trails that have been kind of really created for bikers and walkers.
Right.
Now, where we go, there are some, depending on which way you go on it, there's some more hills than others, and some of them are a little bit steeper than others. But for the most part, it's paved. Now, I have, like I said, accidentally, what I have found too is when I'm riding, if I look off, that's where I tend to want my bike to go.
Yes.
And I remember, and it reminded me when I took my motorcycle lessons, the motorcycle teacher said, look, if you look, your bike is going to go that way.
Right, it's true. Yeah, we always say look straight ahead.
Yeah, because if you look off to the side, your hands, for whatever reason, they just kind of go like this. And I'm learning that.
And then once you get off that pavement, you can't correct because you're going to fall.
Yeah, you can't just jump back over.
No.
And like I said, I came really close. And I think it was one of those distracted moments.
Yes.
Kind of went off to the side. And it's starting to do this as an older person. I'm not going to say I'm old, I'm getting there, but I'm definitely senior citizen according to some charts. Over 55, right? But to go back and to start that kind of exercise, I know, of course, any exercise we start, get doctor's references, make sure that you're healthy enough to do those exercises. But to me, I found walking just seemed, yes, I could just get up. I didn't have to take anything with me but my feet and my shoes, good shoes. But biking just seemed like one of those things I could remember as a kid.
Yes.
Just, and I would remember I would even handlebars, just go,
right.
Honey, if I let go of my handlebars, I'm like this still. I'm kind of still gritty.
Yeah.
Holding on, don't let go. Going down hills, I'm still ready to put the brakes on. I don't just fly. I've seen some people just,
right.
They're going 40 or 50 miles an hour on a bike.
I know.
Scare me to death. And a lot of those, like you said, you can tell them they've got those, the
Aero helmets.
The Aero helmets and the biking clothes.
Yes, the Lycra, the spandex.
Yes. So I'm going, oh my God. And when they go by me, I'm thinking, why are you on this trail?
Yeah, and really, and we'll talk about this later, but those multi-use paved trails are not really for those cyclists.
No, I don't think so either. But I think we have about 1 minute left, so we'll come back and talk about that when we get back. But just before we go to commercial, it's that freedom, I think, when I talk to you. I think your husband Trey was on the show either 1 or 2 years ago, and we had talked about, I said, well, I really want to come out there, and things happen in life, and I didn't make it. But I've really found that riding a bike is it's an amazing feeling. It's efficient, it's You don't have to pay gas.
It's just fun, isn't it?
It
just
is.
kind
It's
of gets
just
back
fun.
to childhood a little bit. And I always feel like when I'm walking some places, when I'm walking between the rivers, you always feel a little bit like a trespasser sometimes if you kind of dart between a house or if you're cutting through. But for some reason on a bike, I don't feel that way. I feel like, I don't know, it's just fun. And we've seen a lot of older couples come in who get bikes together and use that in their retirement as their exercise and their hobby and their together time, which is really special.
And I think we'll kind of take a break with that one, but go get your coffee. We'll be right back with GHC Coffee Break.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome back to GHC Coffee Break. Julie, it's been said I could talk ears off an elephant because I enjoy chatting so much.
It's great.
But, you know, I know we're here to talk about the bikes, and I have expressed how much I've enjoyed it. But I think we've talked about the kind of bikes, and honestly, when I came in and you really worked through with me and I tried several different ones.
Yes, and that's what we really want for people. I always hate it when people come in and they get on a bike and that's the only bike they ride and then they get it. And that's their decision, but I don't want people to think that I have made them purchase that bike.
No, and that was the thing, you know, because I did try just the Cruiser with no gears.
You did.
I think I looked at the 3-wheel.
Yes.
I think y'all had one 3-wheel thing
Yes,
up
the
there.
trike. Yes.
Which was kind of cool. But I said it probably wouldn't be what I needed, even though I did like the seating of that.
Right.
That was what attracted me to it, to be honest. And then there was that really neat bike that I walked through.
Step-through frame.
Yes,
Yes.
that was really cool, and I liked it. So, you know, that's the type of bikes. Let's talk a little bit about safety.
Okay.
Rules, because that's really important, I think, if you're going to start riding a bike. And I'm learning them. You gave me a great little pamphlet that kind of helped highlight some things. But just let's talk about the safety gear of it.
Well, you know, you are a vehicle. A bike is a vehicle. And as much as cars don't like that, I think, sometimes motorists don't like that, it's true. That's law. Bicycles are vehicles. But the caveat is that you also have to follow the rules of the road. So good cyclists will stop at stop signs, use your hand signals.
Yes.
You know, this is right turn, this is left turn, and this is I'm stopping, because obviously motorists can't read your mind, what you're doing. If you're weaving in and out of traffic, they don't know. And so, you know, it's just prudent to use common sense when you're on a bicycle. You travel in the same lane as a car would, unlike it's always opposite. When you're a pedestrian, you're going the opposite way, you know. But when you're a bicycle, you are traveling in the lane of traffic with with the cars. So the rules of the road, pretty much you are not allowed to ride 2 abreast, and more than 2 abreast. So if you see cyclists out on country roads and they are stretched across, you know, your lane of travel 4 deep, that's illegal. They really should be 2 abreast. And then if they hear a car coming up, what a good cyclist will do is, if there's enough, you know, shoulder, they'll get off the pavement, or they'll even stop and let you pass if it's in a curvy road.
Okay.
So that's where a lot of the problems between cyclists and cars come into. Cyclists who sometimes, to be honest, are just being jerks, you know, and are doing everything they can do to get their ride in and to get their fitness up, and they're not thinking about, I'm impeding this car. If they would just pull off to the side, let the car pass, then it's going to be better.
And as a driver, I'm always very conscious and nervous when I get near a bicyclist.
Right.
But now as a bicyclist, I get a little bit nervous when cars get up. So I mean, it is that.
It's you know, it's a catch-22. And if more people just were nice and kind and you know, don't take up the whole lane, and as a motorist, you know, don't honk.
Yeah.
They know you're there. They can hear the car.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of stop and give them some room. So in Georgia, we have a 3-foot law. So what that means is if you see a cyclist and you come up right next to them in the car, you have to give them 3 feet.
Oh.
So it's called buzzing. So if the cyclist is here and the car comes and kind of buzzes, the cyclist gets right up just to be
a jerk.
Then the cyclist can get the tag number and report.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't know about that. And to be fair, you have to be in the right situation at the right time.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, so a lot of people don't know about that. But I do feel like Rome PD knows about this, and so I think they're in Floyd County. I think the word is getting out about this, and people have been on group rides before, and that's happened, and they have called to report a cyclist. Because a lot of times, if a motorist does that to a cyclist, then he's just probably some erratic driving going on anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the other important, knowing the rules of the road and safety. I mean, you don't have anything around you.
Right. Yeah.
It's not motorized, but it still can be a pretty good crash.
We have been lucky. I'm on the board of Georgia Bikes, and Georgia Bikes is our statewide advocacy group, and we work for making cycling safer for everyone.
Good.
Not just for the people who have $1,000 road bikes, who that's their hobby and they get out and ride 80 miles every weekend, but also for the people that, let's be honest, in this community might be on the fringes and they need that bike for transportation.
Yeah.
And they don't care about what the rules of the road are because they need to get to work at 10 o'clock. And so they might wear dark clothing, they might ride on the other side of the street, and they might ride on the sidewalk, or they might ride in the road. So Georgia Bikes is working to, we got the 3-foot law passed. So just a lot of things. And so through Georgia Bikes, there have been several instances of, unfortunately, cyclists getting killed throughout the state. And in Rome and Floyd County, knock on wood, we have not had those fatalities.
Well, and I think because we see more awareness and people are actually creating trails for bikes and for walkers. What about safety gear, or how should a person dress to ride a bike?
Well, the number one thing is if you are under 16, if children under 16 legally in the state of Georgia,
16 and under
16 and under have to wear a helmet.
That's very important.
We do not have to, but if I'm not wearing a helmet, my 9-year-old's going to call me out on it. So it's the adage, how can you be a good example when you're not, doing what you need to be doing too, so your kids see that. Adults don't have to wear a helmet, but don't be dumb. I mean, it's smart. I know as kids we didn't wear helmets, but there's so many preventable tragedies, that could have been prevented by wearing a helmet. So helmet safety is the first thing, and you want that helmet to fit. You don't want that helmet to fit back here. You want it to be right here. The rule of thumb is 2 finger widths above your eyebrows, so the bottom of the helmet really needs to fit right here. You really want to protect this portion. So good helmet fitting is key. Closed-toed shoes would be smart. We've all had stub toes. It hurts. The thing that I always think about is my jeans. If I'm wearing long pants, I don't want to get them caught in the chain.
Yeah.
So just be cognizant of that as well. Helmets are good.
But other than just being what about, you talked about dark clothes.
Bright colors, we call them high vis. So the bright yellows and greens and oranges, those are always better if you're out on the roads. If you're on the trails, probably it doesn't matter so much. But you always want people to see you. A lot of people have taken to having lights even in the daytime. If you have a flashing red light on the rear and then a flashing light on the front, that's smart too. Anything you can do to put on your body or on your bike to attract attention, so cars or motorists know that you are there.
Well, what about people? Because a lot of trails are designed for walkers and bikers.
Right. So, you're right. Cyclists and walkers typically are on the right side of the trail or the left. It's, you follow the same rules of traffic. And it does get a little complicated because the trails are not very wide, maybe 10 feet. Some of the trails we have are only 8 feet. So when you're riding, it's nice to have a bell.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
You can ding the bell, and you don't have to be a jerk about it. I think sometimes when I say rider coming up behind you, it makes me sound kind of
that's brusque. What I worry about that.
But I think people get it, and it's interesting. You always see that walker kind of do this which way do I go?
Yeah.
You know, for a minute. And
You
then
move
if
to
they're
the
smart, they'll
right.
just get off to the right a little bit. But and you said before, people wear headphones so they don't hear. So sometimes, even if you have to get off that trail and go around them, that's fine too.
Yeah, because we noticed that actually this weekend when we were riding. We came up on some walkers, and I was afraid that I always am very nervous. I want them to know I'm coming,
Right.
so I usually say something. My husband said he usually does something with his gears to make people,
Oh, right.
Yeah, he'll change gears so
That's
it'll
smart.
Yeah,
That's
it'll
a good idea.
without actually having to say I'm coming up, because he's kind of a quiet person.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm coming up to the left.
Right. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Because some, and I think it's a courtesy on both ends, like you said. I've seen walkers take up the whole
Right.
road.
I know.
And they see you, even some that are coming this way.
Right.
They're walking towards you. You're going this way, and they're spread out, like you said. You
Yeah.
know, 4, 5, 6 abreast.
Right. Talking.
And some of the kids, why are you going on a walk if you got your stupid?
I know.
We won't even go down that road because that gets me so mad.
Me too.
But you know, and they're not paying attention, and you're trying to pay attention.
And then you add a dog leash in this too.
Yes. Oh yeah. And I have no problem sharing, but share back, please.
Right.
And I think that goes back to what we were talking about, that common courtesy
Yes.
on any kind of road or trail. What would be your best advice? We only have a couple of minutes left, but what would be your best advice for somebody looking to begin riding? Because like I said, I'm 50, I'll be honest, I'm 56, I'll be 57 in September. Very proud of those years, but I just have found out I had diabetes, got to exercise, there's things I need to do to be more healthy.
Right.
To me, riding a bike was just my answer.
Absolutely. I think really think about truly where you want to ride. And then by knowing the answer to that question, that narrows it down a lot. Know where you want to ride. And honestly, I talk a lot about price point because that makes a difference too. If you
it does.
come in and you want a bike for $100, I wish I could help you, but they really that bike probably will not last. And I don't know that I could get a bike for that. So honestly, price point, what you're willing to spend. Even if you have an older bike, is it worth rehabbing that bike?
Okay.
Too. So a lot of people come in and say, I want a new bike. And then in the conversation, they'll say, well, I have this bike and this is wrong with it. And I say, bring it in and you could maybe save some money. I'd love to sell you a new bike, but if we could fix your bike or repair your bike, then that might work too.
And that was something that really impressed me. That was the issue when we were talking, is looking at price point and what we could do, what kind of bike I could get for what I wanted to spend. And there was no judgment, because it was kind of like, you always feel like, oh, I can only spend $250, so that was really helpful. Well, we're going to get our coffee and we'll be right back with GHC Coffee Break.
My college offers classes that meet my educational and career goals.
With opportunities outside the classroom.
Where the faculty know me by name.
My college can prepare me for my career.
I can earn an associate's degree and transfer credits toward my bachelor's.
My college is a state college within the University System of Georgia.
My college is affordable.
It's close to home.
My college has online opportunities.
It's where excellence begins.
We are
We are
GHC, Georgia Highlands College.
Thank you for joining me on GHC Coffee Break. Julie, I've really enjoyed this.
I have too, Susan. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Let's give you our address. It's
Okay.
Psychotherapy.
Psychotherapy, we are in downtown Rome at 608 Broad Street. We're next to Deli Downtown, and we're directly across from the Rome Chamber of Commerce, right where Riverside Parkway tees into the 600 block of Broad Street.
And it's really easy to get to, and I hope you go visit Julie and Trey at Psychotherapy. Until next time on GHC Coffee Break.